Okay, the other day we taught you guys how to deal with exponents and whatnot. We went ahead and did that. Today we want to talk about operations on polynomials. And today we're going to teach you how to add, subtract, multiply, divide, and even raise polynomials to a power. So we want to learn those four things. Poly just means many, so this is a many-termed expression. And all we do is you identify the operation. A lot of times when people see parentheses, they think multiply. But the operation here is addition. And so all I do, you can even take the parentheses off if that helps you read it. 3z minus 9z squared plus 2 plus 2z squared minus 4z plus 8. So you can think of it just like that. And all we do is we combine like terms, and I like to start with the largest exponent first. So a negative 9z squared and a positive 2z squared. And that makes negative 7z squared. I then combine the positive 3z and the negative 4z to make a negative z. And a positive 2 and a positive 8, I would have a positive 10. And there's my result. What's different about the next one? It's subtraction. And when you have subtraction, you need to distribute the subtraction all the way through the expression. G squared plus 10g minus 4. You can see how that stays exactly the same. And then instead of minus a negative 4g squared, I will distribute the negative and it will become a plus 4g squared. Distribute this negative and it becomes a plus 8g. Distribute this negative and it becomes minus 6. So how many g squareds will I have? 5g squared. 18g. Good morning. And negative 10. What do you think is a bigger deal? Sasso winning the volleyball championship or Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl?
Bigger deal?
Yeah. Did anybody have good Super Bowl food last night? Man. We made those little smokies with bacon and brown sugar. And then we made meatballs, and we made these pizza pinwheels. It like kind of roll them up in dough with some, cheese and sauce and pepperoni, and then set them in a muffin tin and cooked them. They were really good. They were really good. Okay, here the operation, you see parentheses. As you can see, there's no addition or subtraction between them. The operation is multiplication. So I need to multiply this out. Sometimes the term FOIL is used. First, outside, inside, last. We get x squared. We have a negative 2x, a negative 4x, and a positive 8. You always have to remember that after you multiply each term out, you need to combine like terms. This would be an x squared minus 6x plus 8. Try number 4 on your own. Go. You should have x squared plus x minus 7x minus 7. And when you combine like terms, x squared minus 6x minus 7. Any questions on that one? Okay, then the next one, you can see that there are numbers in front of the x. We still just be careful, multiply each one out. We get a 6x squared plus 2x minus 15x minus 5. So 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. Go ahead and do number 6 on your own. Raleigh's volleyball team had a strong start to their match. Not able to come away with the victory, but they had fun nonetheless. It is customary to write it so that the largest degree is first, so negative 18x squared plus an x plus 5. Okay. All right, so that should very much be a review. Example 7 is where people sometimes make mistakes. So let's talk about this one. It says to square each, and a lot of times people write 16x squared plus 25y squared. That is incorrect. Who can tell me why that's not right? Nobody? What does it mean to square something? Multiply by itself. So to square this means to take 4x plus 5y and multiply it by 4x plus 5y. That's what you have to do. So 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times 5y is 20xy. 5y times 4x is another 20xy. And 5y times 5y is 25y squared. So 16x squared plus 40xy plus 25y squared. And people would very much like to look at the next example and just cube each one and get x cubed plus 8. And that is not correct. If you take something and cube it, you multiply it by itself. X plus 2 times x plus 2 times x plus 2. That's going to take a little bit more time, isn't it? Yep. So you can see that some of the problems that you saw the other day, those were problems that were going to take 5 seconds. This is going to take just a little bit longer. X times x is the x squared. And I'm going to try to skip a step here. X times 2 and 2 times x, what will that give me in the middle? Yep, 4x. And then 2 times 2 will give me 4. So I still need to multiply that by x plus 2. X squared times x, x cubed. X squared times 2, 2x squared. Once I'm done with the x squared, I move on to the 4x. 4x times x is 4x squared. And 4x times 2 is 8x. And then I move on to the 4. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times 2 is 8. And so we get a grand total of x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 8. Any question there? Okay. So usually on the test, people do the multiplication pieces correctly. However, I will say that one of the most common problems that people have is when they see the plus and the minus, because they see parentheses here, they automatically think that they multiply. People start just doing this all the time. So that's something you have to be careful of. The other part that people get wrong is dividing. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to divide. And the first way we're going to do it is we're going to do long division from back in the day. Let's see if you remember long division. X minus 5 goes into x squared minus x minus 20. What do you multiply x by to get x squared? X. So you place the x right above the x to the first term. Do you remember what you do after that? You take the x and you multiply it back through. So x times x is x squared, and x times negative 5 is negative 5x. And we subtract. So you have to be careful. X squared minus x squared is 0. What is negative x? I'll write it out. Negative x minus a negative 5x. Close? You add the opposite and you get positive 4x. Minus 20. Drop down to minus 20 and you go again. You start here. What do you multiply x by to get 4x? 4. So you put the plus 4 here. And you multiply back through. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. When you subtract those, what do you get? You get 0. Okay. So this is your answer, x plus 4. That's what you get when you divide this by this. There's an easier way of dividing. Would you like to see an easier way? We'll do the long division way once more, and then for the other two, I'm going to show you a much, much easier way. And hopefully you'll remember that from years past as well. So we'll do the long division, for example, 10. What's different about this, I have an x minus 1, and it divides into x cubed, but notice how I'm missing an x squared term. Anybody know what I write if I'm missing the x squared term? 0x squared. Then there's a plus x, and there's a minus 2. What do we multiply x by to get x cubed? X squared. Multiply that back through, and we get x cubed minus x squared. The first term should always go away. So notice x cubed minus x cubed gives me 0. Well, what is 0 x squared minus negative x squared? If you have to write it out, write it out. Positive 1x squared. What do I do now? Drop down the x. And we start again. What do you multiply x by to get x squared? Multiply by x. X times x is x squared. And x times negative 1 is negative x. And we subtract. X squared minus x squared is 0. X minus a negative x is a positive 2x, then minus 2. And we start again. What do you multiply x by to get 2x? 2. We get 2x minus 2. We subtract and we get 0. So the answer is x squared plus x plus 2. That seems like a lot of work, doesn't it? I don't do that ever. I never do long division. Shouldn't say never. There's every once in a while like a calculus 2 type problem it pops up, but I really try to not do long division. There is a time where you can see it in your college algebra class, so we do reference it every once in a while, but when we're going to divide polynomials, let's take an easier way. And what we do is we do something called synthetic division. And all we do is we look at the number you plug in to make 0 into there. What number would you plug in to make 0? 2. So you put it there with a half box around it. Now, if your teacher taught you previous years that organize this differently, so be it. This is the way that I teach it. Then we put the coefficients of the polynomial right across here. So I put a 1, I put a -4, I place another 1, and I place a 6. And then I put another half box down here in R, and that R stands for the remainder. And this produces for us the result, but it produces a much faster way, and we're much less likely to make mistakes. All we do is we start by taking this first number and dropping it down. Does anybody know what I do after that to get going? I take this times this. 2 times 1 is 2. And instead of subtracting, we add. What is -4 and 2? -2. I then multiply. 2 times -2, -4. I add and I get -3. We then multiply and we add. So what does this mean? The -3 is my constant, like 6 is the constant. -2 is the coefficient for the x, and 1 is the coefficient for the x squared. So my answer is 1x squared minus 2x minus 3. And that's all you have to do. Isn't synthetic division nice? Yeah. And that's a skill that in your college algebra class someday you're going to want to use. So we'll do this one together. I taught you the first way. You tell me, what number do I put up in the corner here? Close? -1. What numbers do I put across the top? Careful. 3, 0, 1, and 4. I have to place the 0 because of the x squared in its absence. Make another half box down there with an R for remainder. We drop the 3. We multiply. Do I add or subtract? We add. That's why it's always nice. You get to add and not subtract. We multiply to get 3. We add to get 4. We multiply to get -4. We add to get 0. So again, we have a constant, an x, and an x squared. So your answer is 3x squared minus 3x plus 4. It's as simple as that. Not too bad? Okay. Why don't you go ahead and turn to your homework. And you're going to see a section called Operations on Polynomials. Telling you in the first section to add or subtract. The next section to multiply. And then on the back it says divide. Now I do have one problem on there where I ask you to do long division. The others you can simply just use synthetic. Okay? It's important to keep the long division in our head, but the rest you can just do synthetic. So got about 16 minutes. Should be able to get a decent amount of work done there. I'll put the answer key up on the board.